Alright, I picked up a Ford Excursion and I've been replacing all the little broken things on it. Pretty much all the latches on the lift gate and tailgates, barn doors didn't work. So I had to replace this whole door because a previous owner couldn't figure out how to undo the stuck latch, and they just cut the bottom corner of the door out. So all that fiberglass is gone, the latch is gone. And my replacement door is basically the same, where the handle doesn't work. But all you do, that interior panel will pop off from inside the car. It just pulls off. Then you can reach inside there and feel there's a cable. So whenever you're pulling the handle, basically it's just like what's on a bicycle. There's a steel cable inside of a plastic housing, and it's going to put tension on that and then release the latch. So what we're going to do is, this uses a T27 Torx 1, 2, 3, and then that latch assembly is going to come free, and I'll be able to kind of pull it out around this window. I might drill these rivets out. I'll just pop new rivets in there to get the handle assembly out so I can do it on the bench. But we've got this that I got on Amazon. Supposedly this is a fix for those busted cables. Those are going to slide on the end of the cable and should hold the housing stationary, because right now what's happening is the housing is moving with the cable, so it's not able to hold any tension. So let me pull this latch out. T27 Torx. One, two, three. Alright, so now we can see this latch. There's nothing holding the cable in this position on the bracket, so it just kind of slides around. So let's see if we can just slide one of these over the cable housing and put it back in that slot. So you see it's got a slot and opening all the way. That's for the cable to pass through. And then right now it's only on there by about 3/16 of an inch. But I'm gonna have to use both hands and press this aluminum cable end further up that black housing. And then it's got a little machine surface on the edge that acts like a catch to make sure that the aluminum doesn't just slide through that slot. But I'm going to go ahead and drill these rivets out and pull the handle out too, so I can really do the other side. And then I'll just, once I get these positioned, I'll squeeze it with some pliers to put just like a friction bite on that cable housing. I just used a 5/32 drill bit, and you just drill out the center of that rivet. And you might need a pair of pliers or something to grab it and pull the remainder out. So I just yanked the end of that rivet off with a pair of pliers. So then this comes right out, and you can see this end of the housing also is missing a way to hold it stationary. So I'm going to put a aluminum end on there too. It's going to be easier to remove that cable from the handle while you're working on it. So you can see that ball just pops out of that socket and the cable will come right out. So the cable passes through that hole, and then this little clip is supposed to hold it stationary, but there was no longer anything for it to bite onto. So we're going to slip one of these over the end here. So this is going to pass over just like that and pull it down this cable housing. Okay, I actually noticed that 1 out of 4 of these aluminum ends is different. So you see this end is just a circle, but this end is almost kind of elliptical. So if that's a problem, I'll just take this one off and put one of those on. But you can see, so I took a flat edge, just a screwdriver, and opened this channel up just a little bit. This is a soft metal, so don't overdo it. And pressed it down by hand first on both ends. So now I can press the cable in, and I'm using this shoulder to hold it in the vise. I'm just going to slide that cable in as far as I can. Then I'll do the same thing over here. And then, since I've got one on each end, I can actually pull the ball on the cable, and it's going to help pull that aluminum over the housing. And here we have it, aluminum ends on the housing. Now what helped to get these things slide down that housing, if you sand the housing, it's going to go on a lot easier. Fortunately, I had another handle, because I had one end was not seated on the housing all the way, so whenever I put tension on it with the handle, it just broke the little retention socket in there where my thumb is pointing that holds the ball end of the cable. And I just put too much pressure on it. So make sure that you get these aluminum things seated all the way, or the housing seated all the way in the aluminum rather. But now you can see when I actuate the handle, it pulls that release. So I'm going to stick this back in the tailgate and get those T27 Torx in there, put the panel back on, and we'll be good to go. One, two, and 3. It helps to reach in there and hold that latch to get the screw hole to line up. Tighten them by hand at first. I'm going to go easy with this impact. Using a hand driver is more ideal. So the latch is in place. Now I've just got to pop some rivets back in the handle. So let's do that. Okay, I've got bottom rivet in there. Just got to do the top. You'll just take your rivet, slide it in there with the tail sticking out, and then slide your rivet gun over it and squeeze the handle until it snaps. I don't have a good place to set my camera here, otherwise I would demonstrate that. Okay, unfortunately I ran out of rivets big enough, so for the top one I just stuck a machine screw in there with a nut on the back side for now, but it works great now. So I'd say that's a good solution. Little Amazon cable ferrules for like $5 or $10, whatever they were.